Hi everyone, this is Sneha. Welcome to my channel. So I'm a 4/6 SPP and I have shared a video earlier on what the G center feels like, and I just felt inspired to share something else on you know the self authority. So this is the notebook that I have where I record everything that I know is very good and it's going to keep me grounded and centered. I go through these notes almost on a daily basis, and it's helping me a lot to decondition. So I really hope this helps you as well. I've written, these are not my notes, these are not my words. This is something that I found on the internet. I'm so sorry, I do not know the source of these notes, but if it feels familiar to you, please let me know and I will credit them. So let's begin. The elusive self authority. Self authority is really just an autopilot system. People with self authority do not have to wait out the emotional wave or listen for a scenic voice that only speaks once, or listen to a sacred voice, or need the drive of ego. These are people who have to do only one thing, what they do. This is the monopole driving the person. The self authority has to only sit in the vehicle and let the driver do the driving. An SPP doesn't even have to think about it. Typically, when questioned about a decision they've made, they may have thoughts to justify the decision, but thoughts didn't make the decision. On the other hand, they may have no thoughts about it at all, and when asked, will say, I don't know, it was just the right thing to do. It's very nebulous. Much like the hummingbirds that migrate thousands of miles, self authority is tuned into something that you can't really put a finger on. These hummingbirds have to find enough flowers along the way to survive, and the time when those flower bloom changes from year to year. Somehow the hummingbirds know from year to year just when to set off. Somehow they just know how to get where they're going, their own direction. Someone with self authority is a person who isn't here to follow rules. This person doesn't have to leave on Tuesday, even though everybody else may have to. What other people say, what the school says, or the employer, or the society at large just isn't relevant to their decision making. They don't tend to do things simply to reach a goal, and they don't tend to do things just because it worked in the past. Something happens, something on TV, something in a book, a conversation, a thought that drifts through their mind, a cock crowing 3 times, whatever it is. It somehow propels the driver to turn left or right, and off they go. The only issue for the person with self authority is trust. Trusting that internal navigation system. Once that navigation system engages, the worst thing the self authority person can do is to go against it. This applies to both the love and direction aspects of the G center. This principle of trust operates not just in terms of direction, but also in terms of self organization and self relationship, self love. The self authority is intimately connected to its sense of self. These people have a finely tuned sense of themselves, even to the extent of appearing overly self confident or self involved. As long as they don't violate that sense of self by going where they know they shouldn't go or doing what they know they shouldn't do, things are just fine for them. This is a person who can simply refuse to do something for 10 years and then suddenly flip 180 degrees completely and embrace it wholly for the next 20 years. For them, it's simply a question of whether or not it fits into their current self. When it doesn't fit, they don't do it. When it fits, they do it. It's critical for self authority that they maintain their sense of rightness about themselves. It doesn't matter if that sense of rightness is in accord with anyone else's, but it must be right with them. You can know a person like this for years and believe you can predict their behavior, and suddenly they will do something completely out of the left field that is totally contrary to what you would expect. It's simply that their self has changed for whatever reason. If you happen to know one for a goodly long time, you'll have the chance to see that they are very rigid until they change. As long as self authority is operating correctly, trusting itself, then any decision made is the right one. It doesn't matter what decision they make, turn left or right, whichever they choose, as long as it comes from that place of trust, they will have the right experience. It's the quintessence of Gate 46, the serendipity of being in the right place at the right time. No person with self authority can love anyone else unless they are right with themselves. And no person with self authority can be happy in a relationship with another person if that other person can't accept the extreme sense of identity. Remember, these are people with no motors. They don't have the energy to be able to constantly hassle with an emotional person who wants them to change, or with an ego that has to compete about what's the right way. Once they are caught up in endless conflict about what they do and where they go, they don't have the staying power for that. Self authority is no more reliable than any other authority in terms of guaranteeing that the resulting experience will be pleasurable. But so long as that pure, innocent trust is there, the person will have the right experience. Now, what is the right experience? That's pretty simple. It's the one that somehow leads to the next correct experience for the person to fully become who they are. Self authority is the perfect union of essence and existence, of being and becoming. The defining mantra for the person with self authority is Shakespeare's wonderful line: this above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night the day, thou canst not then be false to any man. Hamlet. Now, projectors with a twist. The self authority is always a projector with no motors. But if you say you have to be recognized and invited before you can do anything, you're leading them astray. These projectors have to do what they hear the selves say. Invitation for them doesn't always have to come from the outside. When they have to make a decision, they need others to listen to what they're saying. What they say will allow them to hear what the right decision is. This can take time and require talking about it with several people. They need to trust what comes out of their mouth. They may not understand it since the G center is not an awareness. When the self authority projector has to do something where external recognition and invitation is not directly involved, it's useful for them to understand that their doing has nothing to do with the outcome. This is one area that can be difficult for them. Maybe they write a book that never gets published. They have to write the book because that's what they have to do. Helping others. Self authority can help others find their identity and direction, but they must be recognized and invited. This is what can be hard for self authority to come to grips with. They know how it works, but nobody is going to listen to them unless they're invited. This is just pure energy dynamics. So, a lot of things that I just mentioned from this resonated with me, and I hope that this resonates with you as well. At any point in your journey, this is what I feel. Take what resonates, and let the rest of it go. If it doesn't resonate with you, maybe that is not information that you need right then. This is how it's been for me all the time, and this is what I think is the best thing to do. Let's not wait for all the information to come all at once and then begin the deconditioning process. You can just begin it, start it, take what resonates, think about it, sleep over it. And thing is that the right things start to show up. At least that is how it happened for me. Once I turned 30, actually life went completely topsy-turvy. I had to, it was as if, my life was deconstructing all by itself. I wasn't even doing anything. Things were deselecting themselves. I had to drop a lot of people out of my life because I kind of realized that my relationship with everyone at that point was that of me being a therapist to them. And it didn't feel, you know, like that is something that I should be doing just yet. Like, I'm in my deconditioning process. I would like to finish it. I would like to have people who recognize me as for what I am, as I am, the way I am, not just for what I can do for them. Like, that needs to be my first circle. And then obviously my purpose happens the way it happens, however it happens, the way it shows up. And I hope that that will help you with your journey. Let the deconditioning begin. I am just 15 days into my process at this point, and honestly, I can't wait for the 6 months to get over, and I definitely cannot wait for the 7 years to get over. I have a feeling that I can do this. I don't know, again, I think this could be a self-authority thing where we just kind of know how to do it. Like, once we get it, we just know. How do we know? I don't know. But in the past, like before I turned 30, I had a lot of people change my direction, and I would listen to it also. Like, it's not their fault, it's my fault that I was open to conditioning. But no more. I've learned from a lot of mistakes. I have so many experiences. I feel as if I've lived 300 lifetimes all at once in 30 years. Like, that is the intensity and that is the speed at which I have lived. And now I am to ready to kind of just, you know, take all of my energy back, use it to heal myself, and do things that I love, because that is what is important for self authority. Doing things that you love, shining like a bright lighthouse. And wish me luck. And I wish you the best as well. Thank you for watching and stay tuned. Bye.